Howdy folks, and welcome again to thechefandthegrape.com. I am your host, Chef Christoph, and tonight we're talking about the wines of Argentina, and of course I have something special for you. I have something from Achaval Ferrer. Absolutely one of the premier houses in all of Argentina. And let's be honest, when we're talking about Argentinian wines, there's a lot to choose from. In Mendoza alone, there are over 1,100 wineries. And these are not small, oh, well, we've got a nice, 1.3 hectare parcel, as you might find in, parts of Pomerol or Burgundy. No, there are a lot of immense wineries there producing not just immense volume, but immense quality and immense value for the money. Achaval Ferrer is certainly one of those. Now, this is the Quimera, and I think it's important to actually read what the blend is on this bold red wine. This is Old Vines Malbec, Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, Merlot, and Petit Verdot. And this is yielded at, for those of you who are technically minded, this is yield at 1.3 tons per hectare. Per hectare, right? 1.3 tons per acre. Now, how is that relative to everything else? Well, the average Grand Cru wine is harvested at 1 to 2 tons per hectare. Premier Cru, 2 to 3 tons even per hectare. The average, let's say, a very good table wine, like something you might pay 15 or 20 bucks for in your local store, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 or 5 tons per hectare. 4 or 5, yeah, something like that. Maybe on the lower end if it's really good wine. Table wine, 6 tons per hectare, and bulk wine, 8 to 9 tons per hectare. And this is 1.3. So just in terms of yield, that puts us on the same level as some of the best wineries in the world, and their top level products too. So that says something. And I think it's important to note that Wine Spectator, which is absolutely one of the best wine publications in the world, has long been saying that Achaval Ferrer is one of the premier houses in all of Argentina. They actually gave this a very good score. They gave this 92 points. I know I'm putting the cart before the horse, as they say. Well, I'm from the prairies, so that's what they say on the prairies. But I just wanted to give you a bit of preface so that you understood what caliber of winery we're talking about here. We'll talk a bit about the wine, and then let's get back to why I think this is an immense value in the right market. So take a look at it in the glass. Look at that. I mean, it just looks like ink. It's so dark, so concentrated. On the nose, though, one of the things I found was actually quite reluctant. This is a big, bold, dense wine. This is vintage 2011, and we're making these notes now in December of 2015, so it's 4 years old, which by most wine standards would be, considerable. It's getting on. It should be coming into its own. But I find that with the wines of Achaval Ferrer, that in fact this is very young in the wine's life. And the higher up you go in terms of quality with this winery, the more long-lived, as is a general rule with most wineries, the longer lived the wine is. So 4 years for this wine, it's very young. It's an adolescent. It still needs time to stretch its legs and get the kinks out. And I've now had this wine open for 2 days, and it's only just really starting to come into its own, which for me says that I could easily cellar this for another 2, 3, or 4 years before the wine would really start to come into its own. For me, for my palate. Everybody has their own palate, and if you love big red wines, like super young and super tight and super, well, great, then that's super. Me, I like a little bit of the age characteristic to them. That's me. On the nose, there's such a kaleidoscope of red berry aromas that mix with dark floral tones, irises, dark roses, hints of cocoa, warm earth, as a slight spicy herbaceousness, like pink peppercorns, Szechuan pepper, maybe something like that. It's really it's quite unique and quite beautiful, but it's all quite understated. It's all quite seamless and flowing together, and one really needs to actually take the time to consider the wine in the glass. It's not all just, oh, it's jumping out, and oh, you know, there's rosemary and tomato leaf and pepper, and that's it, right? No, there's tons there, and the more time that you take with the wine, the more the wine actually has to offer. It's quite beautiful. Utterly bright, brisk, refreshing acid. I would say that it really is bordering on full acid, tight, lean, red currant, almost cranberry type acidity to it. Very moderate tannin structure, all things considered. I would have actually expected more. Tannin structure is medium plus, but ultra fine. So fine that it doesn't require food at all. In fact, it's quite enjoyable on its own. The acid might get to be a bit much after a while, but I think all one would really need would be a hint of blue cheese. And in fact, for those who do not enjoy dessert wines, but are red wine lovers, this might be the right wine to finish off a meal, instead of a port or an ice wine or a late harvest or something like that. Try finishing your meal with something like this, and just a bit of blue cheese and some almonds roasted with honey or something like that. Absolutely delightful way to finish a meal. Or split a bottle of this with a friend and a couple of good cigars. Once again, you have to enjoy bright, brisk acid. Now, if you did want to pair this with a meal, I think I would go something very classic with good concentration of flavors. I think that braised meats would do fantastically well with this. Braised meats that have a bit of fat to them. So an ossobuco, classic. Absolutely. Some shank, slow braised in the oven, and finished off with a bit of a foie gras compound butter, or, you know, whatever your budget can afford. But I was actually just talking to somebody about ossobuco milanese today, actually, and here I'm tasting this wine, and I'm thinking, yeah, beautiful. This would love foie gras. This would love braised meat. And even the risotto would find great synergy with this. Anyways, it's a delightful wine. Once again, it's from Achaval Ferrer. Widely available. This Quimera, and I'm proud to tell you about why it's a great value. So this Quimera is quite widely available. They produced about 9,000 cases of it, which is quite substantial, especially for a wine of this caliber. Now, depending on what market you're looking for, the price is actually going to fluctuate quite a bit. So in the Canadian market, it will reach $50, $55, even $60 a bottle. I've seen it in private shops. And yet I actually found this at Costco Bellingham for $19 a bottle. Fantastic value for $19. You know, say what you will about Costco, but their wine purchasing program is very savvy. If you spend 20 bucks with them, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a $25 or a $30 wine. And in some cases, you'll get a wine that's actually worth a lot more than that. So if you are a wine lover and a serious wine lover, try shopping at Costco. And if you're new to wine, go in there with 20 bucks. You'll be surprised with what you walk out with. Don't buy the $10 wines anymore. Say, you know what, I'm going to try the 15. Try the 15, you're going to be impressed. Go back and spend 20, you'll be really impressed. Unfortunately, you can go like that for a long time, and then you're spending 50 or 100 bucks a bottle on wine. but there are worse vices to have in life. Anyways, I was going to get back to the wine, but instead I'll just finish off by saying I really do hope you take the time to look for this in your local market, and I hope we get to continue our conversation about this. On Facebook at The Chef and the Grape, on Twitter at A Student of Wine, and of course here on the YouTube channel at Christophe Gillese, that's Christophe, Kristof, Gillese, Gillese. If you're enjoying the video articles, please just hit that little subscribe button and go ahead and share it with your friends who might also enjoy an article like this. And I hope you take the time to check out the wine. I hope you enjoy it as much as I.